Hello. I'm alive. And not only am I alive, I'm also live. By the way, sorry for reusing an old thumbnail on the stream. I was too lazy to make one, and apparently you can't delete a thumbnail once it's already in, so we're picking this one, and I don't care. Complain about it, will ya? Let's see. Let's do at everyone. Everyone. Oh, hold on. My chat wasn't open, but it made a sound. That's okay, boy without a uke. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for the $2. Welcome in, everyone. Yes, the funny dragon is back. Crossover, you were the first. Could I help you with coding a superhero add-on for Palladium? I mean, I've made tutorials you can use. I mean, it depends on if you have a question, maybe I can answer it. At everyone, I am streaming some YHA because it's now Your Hero Academia. Crazy. Come on in. I gotta really fix this Discord. I really do. But whatever. Until then, we'll get it. We'll ignore it. Just wanted to pop in and say good luck and may the code do its job and not go insane. I'm hoping that it's not going to go insane. Because if it does go insane, I will go insane. How's everyone doing? It's been a minute. Hello, Block 5K. How are you? I should try to turn on the dancing thing. When I say MHA, do I mean Mine Hero Academia or My Hero? Well, it's changing now. Now it's going to be YHA. Your Hero. The weekend's going well for me so far. But we'll see how it goes after I've been coding for a little bit. Maybe it'll make me mad. Maybe it will make me mad. Well, I was on vacation for a bit, so I wasn't able to do too much coding, but I did do a little bit today and last night. And as you'll see down in the bottom left, I now have a stamina bar, and you can see it slowly ticking up. It's working for the most part. We can use a command here. We do YHA. We can use stamina, and we can say like use 10. You'll see the stamina goes down by 10. See, pretty great, huh? This is replacing the stamina bar. It's not, the visuals are going to be different. It's not going to look like this as the end result. But the making it look good is going to come later. This is me getting the functionality working. How'd the vacation go? The vacation went pretty, it was pretty good. It was pretty nice. If MHA made a show about Aries' time at UA, would you watch it? I doubt it. I don't know. Like, maybe I would. She didn't really interest me as a character too much. But anyway, so yeah, we have the stamina system ticking down there, and it's working. So I actually did a lot of the confusing stuff already. Is it possible to have it so people can individually pick the visual style of the stamina bar? That's going to be a plan, yeah. That either people can change it or just have like different quirks be a different color. Right now it's just a static thing and it's a temporary visual because I just want it to visually update so I can see it's updating. The difference between this and what I was doing before, the old version or the 1.20 version of the mod, that one was using a bunch of textures and it was using Palladium. So it was using Palladium's GUI logic. The problem with that is that it needed a scoreboard in order to work because, or not only that, it also needed a bunch of a bunch of versions of the textures. You couldn't just make a normal sliding bar. The bar that you see now is completely generated through code. So there's no assets that are going to go into this or that are in this right now. And that meant I was able to completely get rid of scoreboards for the stamina, which I hadn't done that yet in the previous version. This microphone is making me mad. Put that over there. So that's already a boost to the quality, I guess. I mean, the quality in quotes because it doesn't look perfect, but at least it's working. What I also was able to do is add in integration into Palladium. So if I press the first ability here, we'll see I dash. That's what we did last time, but also my stamina now goes down by 20. And we can hit it again, it goes down by 20. If we take a look at the thing, which should be, got a lot of stuff open. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. There it is. If we took a look at the code, not the code, the power, here it is. Right here is the first ability that I talked about. I was able to add it into Palladium. So now inside of the properties section, any ability, you can either use this initial stamina here, which this is how much the stamina is used at the first tick of the use. And then down here, there's an example I have of doing stamina continuously. So this was a little easier to do, actually, in this version of Palladium than the last one. And I think that's mostly due to the capability or the codecs that everything uses. But everything is a lot nicer now, and it's all working in the back end. So now all abilities can use that. And we're going to take a look here too at the documentation that I wrote, because like I said, I am using making actual documentation for things. And so here's where I started talking about the stamina and where I'm going to define the stamina stuff here. This website is linked in the Discord in a pinned comment. So if you wanted to ever see, honestly, the progress of anything, you can just go here and look at it. Yeah, and I'm keeping it updated as I add stuff. I wasn't reading chat. After optimizing, how many scoreboards am I even using? Currently none, and I plan to keep it that way. Yeah, I'm gonna plan on using no scoreboards. You haven't replied to the latest version of the stamina bar I sent in the fan art. That's because I haven't looked at it, or if I did look at it, I just didn't respond. I don't know. Let me look at it now. Oh, I did look at it. I wasn't. I like the style. I think I'm not 100% convinced if that's the look I'm going for. I still need to put some more time into it. Yeah, no scoreboards means that you can do things a lot more efficiently and a lot faster, and do things a little more easier. But we can go through this just real quick. So this is the documentation that I wrote for. Well, there could be some lag. Honestly, I haven't done any performance checks, so that's something that I'll need to do. But I'm trying to be careful of not doing any lag. But yeah, we can look at the stamina. So this is adding stamina to add-on packs, and it just gives you a little description. But you'll see that there's now these 3 properties, and the previous properties, they were named weird. So it wasn't as clear what they do. So now I changed it to initial stamina, stamina interval, and stamina interval cost. So as it says, the initial stamina is how much stamina is used when you first use the ability. So like the first tick of the ability being activated, that's how much stamina is going to be used. The stamina interval is pairs with the interval cost here. This just says how often would you like to decrease or update the stamina. So if you wanted, for example, to update every tick or every second, you would set this value to 20. And then every however many intervals this cost that you can define is how much stamina is going to go down. So I have some examples here. Like here's some continuous stamina usage. You can see you just define the interval as 20 and the interval cost is 15. This is going to use 15 stamina every 20 ticks that the ability is active. And then up here is just the initial stamina, setting that to 20, and that's just saying that when you press this ability for the first time, it's going to use 20 stamina. And this is automatically put into every single ability, including all of the existing Palladium ones, and all of the new ones you may add through powers or through other add-ons and such. So that's already done, and that's working well. What we need to do today, though, is focus on the finishing the stamina implementation. Specifically, things like the exhaustion system, I have to re-implement that. The upgrading system, so how stamina gets increased, because I did have a few changes I wanted to do with that in terms of balancing and oh yeah, and plus Ultra, of course, is also going to be applied. So yeah, we're gonna do that today. Let me make sure this is big enough to read. Settings. Is it settings or is it? I don't remember. Settings, I think. I think they changed it. Appearance. Appearance. Here we go. I think 125% is good. Can you read that or does it need to be bigger? I'll keep it as this for now. Hello, Ven. How are you? I'm doing well. This might be too small. Let me make it bigger. One for all, 1,000,000%. Well, that's a little much. How's your mod coming? Is it almost done yet? Ooh, I did not like this font size. It's a little too big now. You can read fine. Okay, then I'm going back to 125. I cannot see. 125. Apply. It's a what? Not finished? Oh, got released. Interesting. Got it. Well, hopefully he doesn't trash on it too bad. How do I even achieve that? You can't use more power than you have. You could just lie. Okay, so let's see. If I take a look at the old code for my library, I had this stamina helper file, and this is where I did all of the stamina logic. And as you can see, it's kind of a lot of stuff that it does. And it was really annoying to use because capabilities in regular Forge are kind of dumb. You have to always check that they exist, even though that you know they will. You got to do all these extra checks and stuff. It's really annoying. But NeoForge actually does it a lot nicer. And I don't know if it's NeoForge or if it's just 1.21. But all I have to do is just grab it once, like this, using this Git. And this ensures that it actually exists. Everything is all good with it, and I can just pull everything out of it just like this. Like, it's really simple compared to what I was doing before. But the plan is I'm going to kind of just look at what I did before and just kind of copy it over, but just, I guess, optimizing it as I go and making some decisions. Right now we're talking about right now I'm on the section where I'm adding in the regen. The stamina regen. So passively, or normally, it'll go from, or it'll have like 100% regen. So if you're not exhausted or anything, the stamina will just go up at a normal rate. But there are exhaustion levels, and each level of exhaustion will slow down the rate that the stamina increases or regenerates. That is to punish you for going beyond your limits, I guess. And here are the rates here. Eventually, I'm going to make them configurable. But if you're just normal, you'll have 100% regen rate. You'll be good. If you have one level of exhaustion, you're going to be at 50% regen. Second level is 30%, 20%, and then 10%. Why this man keep gassing himself up? Who knows? Let's see. So what I need to do here is we have the regen rate. We just need to check the regen rate and if it applies. So how I did this before was I checked the well, first just check if the regen rate is greater than 100%. If it is 100% or greater than 100%, then that means we can just regenerate the stamina. And before I just have it go up by 1, but I feel like I want to make it configurable a little bit because I want people to be able to upgrade their stamina. Maybe like a gene increases stamina. And kind of as you were just saying, Crossover, I want to be able to train stamina regeneration and stamina. Because one of the problems I had with the other version of the mod is that it still felt a little weird for increasing your stamina. Like you could just spam some buttons and then eventually you would just get stronger. I want to change that up. I want to add in like exercising sort of deals. So it isn't just always, pressing one button and then leveling up. And I think to do that, I am going to need to store the regen amount inside of the stamina capability. So we'll do get regen amount. What this will allow me to do, if I'm storing this, it essentially says each player can have their own unique amount of stamina that they'll regen every server second, every tick. Let's see. Hello, Pacquiao. How are you? I feel like you changed your name again. Because wasn't it like... Yeah, I feel like you changed your name again. I could be wrong. All right, we need to go to the data here. This interface is just what allows me to easily pull from the capability and then just manipulate the things for it. So here we have points progress, upgrade points, whether or not the stamina was initialized, which this actually I don't need. No, I still need that. Never mind. Whether or not the powers are disabled, there's the last raw stuff, all the exhaustion. This is all from before. What we need to do is add in 2 new methods. We need to get the regen. What did I call it? Is it a regen amount? Yeah, I guess so. We'll do regen amount. Where'd it go? Here we go. Get regen amount. And then void set regen amount. And then we'll just do amount. Just like that. And what we need to do is actually implement this. So if we go to the implementation, here is the stamina data class, and this is representative of the actual data that's being stored. So this kind of replaces the capability. It's now using something called data attachments, which I don't understand 100%, gonna be honest, but I got it to work here. So we're gonna do private static final. We need a string. This is for the serialization of the data. So it has to be represented via MBT, and so you do that with strings most of the time. So we're gonna do regen underscore amount underscore key, and let's just give it a random key name, which is just regen amount. We need that. We need to give it or just define it here. We don't need a default value. No, we do need a default value for this one because everyone's going to be able to regen. So we have to default it to 1 because we wanted them to, at the very least, increase it by 1. And then we have this codec here, which NeoForge / the newer versions of Minecraft use to kind of store data. It's kind of like replacing, I mean, it's not really replacing capabilities, but it's just kind of the new way of doing things. So we're just going to add to the codec here, or add to the builder, essentially. We're going to do another integer field of, we give it the key, which is the regen amount key, and we use the for getter, and then we pass in the actual implementation of the function, which is the get regen amount function, because we defined it inside of the inside of the stamina data interface, it knows that it's going to exist. We do have to actually implement it though. So I'll go down. Hold on, reading chat. I moved chat messages over to the side, so I can't really read them as well. You're playing totally accurate battle simulator and having you on in the back, or me on in the background. That sounds like a great day. I've been doing well, Pacquiao. I also haven't been streaming very often, so that's probably why you haven't been here. Okay, so the from codec here, we need to add in the int regen amount. Then we need to come down here. We'll do data.set regen amount. Int amount is going to be regen amount, just like that. We need to override the these two, the getter and the setter for it. And we're gonna put that right where the regen cooldown is, which is right here. So we're going to add override slash implement methods. And we need these two, which, there we go, implement. The get of the regen amount is just going to be regen amount that we defined from above. And the setting of it is literally just regen amount dot, or equals. And we're going to clamp this just like we did with the usage total. We're going to ensure that it can't be negative. I don't know what a negative regeneration would look like. That would just be like an ability. If you wanted a specific ability that lowers your regeneration, you just create an ability like this and you just give it a stamina interval and a value, because that's just the way to do it. We're going to make sure that this is only positive so we don't run into issues with that. Let me fix my tabbing. Just like that. It's going to be so cool. It should be pretty cool. Or it is pretty cool so far. Okay, so those are those two. I think we need to come down here. Yep, we need to do the MBT stuff. So mbt.put int the regen amount key and then the regen amount. And then we have to be able to load it. So we're just calling the setter function, set regen amount to the mbt.get integer regen amount key dot or else. Then we just give it the default value, which is 1. And I think, is that everything? Because we don't need to change the stamina data attachment because this is just registering the entire stamina data class as the data attachment. And we have this sync event, which just triggers whenever the player logs on for the first time. I added in a sync check for just ticking on the client side, and or not on the client side, on the server side. And yeah, it's basically just checking for the network packet. So when the server updates and you use an ability, you use stamina, it's got to send it back to the client so you can actually update your little bar down here, which again will change. And I think that's actually it. So the stamina data, yeah, we updated that. So now what we should be able to do is go into the stamina util. And inside of the regen rate, if we check to see that the regeneration rate is 1 at this point, then we need to essentially set the new value for the current. So we'll say new current value is equal to the old current value plus, and then we need to get the regen rate. So we're going to do regen, or actually we already did, so regen amount's right there. So we just do plus regen amount. We do need to bound check it, so we got to make sure that the new current doesn't exceed the maximum. So what we're going to do is math.min to grab the minimum of this value and the max stamina. So this will make sure that if it goes beyond the max, it's going to take the minimum, which means it's going to choose the max. So that just says it won't go over, which is good. Then we need to actually set the current value. So this is really simple because, again, we implemented it in the interface. So I just have to do set max current stamina like that, and then pass in the new current value. And so that's super nice and easy. Whenever I change stamina, I do actually have to sync it to ensure that everything is working. This is a little cumbersome to remember, but it actually works a lot better than the old way I had done it, because everything kind of just keeps it nice and good, I guess. Let's see. I want to the way to test this is probably to add in a function or a command that increases our regen rate. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. So I'm going to come into the stamina command. And we have the stamina, and this is the use command. We want to instead make a, we'll probably do a set command. So I have to have the, there we go, the fun part of finding where it is. So it should be there. So we'll do .then commands.literal, and we need to pass in, we'll do set for this one, and .then commands.argument, and we can do amount. Or no, we have to do what we're setting because we don't know yet. So we're going to do set. We'll do commands.literal for now. It should really be using a builder to like do the predictive text, but I don't care too much right now. So we're going to do set regen amount. And then this has to go over here. Wait, no. We need a .then. How am I going to go about handling all for one? Well, all for one is the ability to take quirks, so that's what it's going to be. It's going to be no, it's the ability to take and give. So that's what it's going to be. But I will have imbalances for things like if your quirk factors are kind of different, or if they're separated, then like, so if the target of the all for one quirk is being stolen, if their quirk factor is smaller, a lot smaller than the quirk factor of the person who has all for one, then that sucks for them. Their power's getting taken, no chance. But if they are kind of closer in quirk factor, so like say they both have a quirk factor of 2, I want there to be some sort of struggle. So I'm either going to do some sort of quick time minigame, like you have to compete against the other person to actually get it. One thing I was toying around with was the custom dimension that puts them in like essentially a 1v1. So their souls or wills are fighting, and the winner of the fight gets the quirk, or either keeps their quirk or gets it stolen. And that might only work, though, if you had like one for all or something. Not too sure. There's a few ideas I have, but right now I'm focusing on the main systems here and not necessarily that. So, but yeah, so command.literal regen amount. Then we need to do a .then again because we need a commands.argument, and this one is going to be called amount, and it's going to be integer argument type because it's just a number, and we'll do .integer, and this is the default value. I guess it's the minimum value, but the minimum is going to be 1. Actually, the minimum should be 0 because you can have a regen rate of 0. I think that would be actually kind of interesting. Like temporarily setting someone's stamina regen to 0 could be pretty cool. And now I can do that because I made this change. So c.get c is, oh no, we got to do executes, then the lambda function of c, and then we do, we got to call the actual function that we're going to be doing. This was use stamina, so we're going to do set regen amount. And it's going to be a new function here that I just created. It's going to be c.getSource, just like above. I really hate doing commands because it's so cumbersome. And it just looks ugly. Argument type dot get integer c amount. And then the last one is the actual entity argument of getting the player, which I didn't do. So I have to copy this over and add it in. This is so dumb. Oh, wait, no. This is if... Oh, yeah, no. This just automatically does the source of the command. Get player or exception. I need to add in another .then on the end to add in the player, just like this one, which I'll do in a second. Private static int set regen amount. Eventually I'll make this a like a generic setter and just pass in any value for him. Int amount, and then server player. And this throws a command syntax exception, even though we don't use it, which, oh well, we're keeping it. But now I can just do stamina util dot, and then I do actually need to add in a set function. So we're going to do, let's see, if we go into the stamina util, let's go down here and let's make a new one. So we have force use stamina. This is, you can see what I called, where's it at? I called this one up here, force use stamina. So I just need to create a similar method, but this one's going to be for force set stamina data. Server player, int amount, and for now we're just going to do a string data name. I should do like an enumeration for this to make it actually like a smart programmer thing, but I'm so lazy right now, so we're not going to do that. Stamina attachments dot get, and then we do the player. And all we got to do is we got to check, we'll do a switch statement on data name. And based on the data name, we can do, you know, whatever it is. So like the case of, and this would be regen amount. We just set this to, and I think the enhanced for is like this, maybe. I don't remember. But this would just be stamina.set regen amount. And we're going to do default. Actually, the default just does nothing. This is going to complain because the switch statement needs more than one switch case. But we'll just add one, I guess, for fun. What is another one? Set max? Probably set max. Actually, we could do set current. That would probably be a useful one. Stamina.set current stamina amount. Also max, I guess, is, I'll just do max. Stamina.set max stamina amount. Okay, now we go back to the command. We can do, we'll just do set stamina value. We'll change this name. Int amount, server player, and then string data name. And then up here, instead of set that, we do set stamina value. This amount player, and then the data name, which is regen amount. Using a lot of plain text in here, not supposed to. Let me double check that the stream is good. I think it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Right. So stamina util dot force set stamina data, and I believe it's player, then it's amount, then it is the data name, and then we have to do source dot send success, and then this takes in a supplier function, and we're just going to do a literal like I did up there, and it's just a text to say that it worked. So set the value of and then plus data name to 4, and then plus player dot get name dot to or get string plus set the value of the data for that. So we got to say 2 and then amount. And then we got to do true for allow debugging. And then we got to return 1 for success or failure. Okay, so that should change our regen amount, and we should be able to see it in action. Palladium is going to 1.21.1. No, it is going to 1.21.11. Even newer. That means you'll get the spear, the mace, all that stuff. You'll get to use it all. Hopefully this doesn't crash, because I did update a data attachment. All right, this seems to be fine. Let's use the, actually, let's just use an ability. We should see this going up by 1. It is. 1, 1, 1. Perfect. Now, let's do the command yha stamina set regen amount to 2. We're going to wait till stamina goes all the way up because I don't want it to get mad. Regen amount is now 2. If I use stamina, this should go up by 2. Oh. It is not going up by 2. Awkward. Let's see. Why is that not working? So we set the stamina value. Wait, did it even say? Yeah, set the value of regen amount for dev to 2. And we called the force set stamina. We pass in regen amount. So it should have gone in here, and it should have gone into stamina.regen amount. So this should have set it because we implemented it here. 0 and the amount. Okay, so this should be good. One thing we can check is inside of the stamina util, inside of the actual tick, do we actually use it? We do current plus the regen amount and max. You know, that should work. Okay, one potential issue I do see. Oh, wait. I know why. I know why. It's because I didn't sync it. Because remember, I said in here, I always have to do stamina sync events.sync now. I did not do that. Let me go over here. Where is it at? Not stamina constants, not the command. Oh, it's in here. Here we go. Boom. We have to sync the stamina changes to the capability, or to the data attachment. Otherwise, it doesn't know. You wonder if Palladium is going to update this month or next month? I have no idea. Is it going to add any new functions other than the multiverse? Are you talking about Palladium? Because it adds in a lot of new stuff. Like most of the abilities are kind of the same, but the changes that were made just make making powers easier. Like some of the stuff that I had to do manually, like in my old version of this mod, that can now be done with normal Palladium. For example, let me actually just show you an example because we're all about learning. So in the previous version of the quirk lib, if I wanted an ability to scale based on the quirk factor, I would have to do that myself. So if I come into this ability, this is a quirk factor scaling attribute ability that I made. The idea is to have an attribute modifier that gets stronger based on if your quirk factor is higher. So if like you use the speed attribute, this would automatically scale your speed to go faster. What I had to do to scale this was I had to, every single time this ran, check the quirk factor here, and then pull it out of this other class, which is stored in another capability. In this case, actually, the scoreboard was, this was stored in a scoreboard still. And then I would have to do the logic myself to try to figure out, like, how is it going to scale? Like, do I want it to scale linearly? Do I want it to scale exponentially? Try to account for all of those. And then I had to do that again and again, over and over, for every single ability that I wanted to scale, which is basically all of them. Now, however, the new version of Palladium allows you to put in Molang expressions, which are basically just math equations, into the power files. So all of that can now just be replaced with something like this, where I'm passing in, I have this property here that I defined called strength, and now to scale it, I've pretty much just pushed it off to the developers of the add-ons themselves. So this expression here is saying set the value of strength to a float type, and this is the expression that the float is going to be set to. In this case, this is a query, and so I'm saying get the, this is something that I defined, but you can, there are queries that exist for all sorts of things. But basically get the quirk factor, and I want it to be multiplied by 0.5 plus 1. And so now this automatically, with just this one little section, this one little change, it's automatically going to scale the quirk factor, or scale this dash ability based on the quirk factor, which is so much nicer than what I was doing, where I had to do it all myself. So now, like, if I wanted to change this, this is a linear function right now. If I wanted to change it to an exponential function, I can do that just as easily as changing this math equation. Yes, you do need to know how to do a little bit of math, but I mean, it's not that hard. At this point, it's just algebra. And then this stuff, these queries here are also pretty cool because they allow you to do all sorts of things and query all sorts of information, like the day, the time of day, how many days the server has been alive, like how fast you're moving, where you're looking, all that sort of stuff. Imagine if there was a soul dimension you could go to and like talk to your quirks. It wouldn't be for every quirk. That would be for you kind of did give me an idea, though. That could be a way to manage your quirks, like popping into the soul dimension, and like to get rid of a quirk, you just kill that NPC. Wild. Or like you just move them around, you shuffle them around, like wait, that's actually a good idea. Okay, too many ideas. I gotta stay focused. Oh yeah, we were testing to see if this works now that I push sync. So if I use an ability, should be going up by 1. And if I set this up, also, this is cool in normal Minecraft. I don't know if this is in the dev environment or if this is normal Minecraft now. It saves your command history, which is crazy. If that's normal Minecraft, that's great. But it saves your command history, so I don't have to type stuff out again. Anyway, set this regen amount to 2. We should have now synced it. If I use this ability, it should go up by 2. It is not. Okay, well, I tried. Like the Wii with the Wii Maker being able to line them up. Exactly. That would be kind of a funny way to manage quirks. All right, we are going to debug and see what this is doing. How am I? That's Space Minecraft. Oh, that's good to know. I'm doing well, thank you. No, so I know pushing up saved it, but I'm talking about like through worlds, actual world resets. Because in 1.20.1, this doesn't, once you restart a world, you can't press the up arrow key to get the history of what you were doing before. The history wasn't saved between logins, but now it is. So that's what I'm talking about. Because I've always known you can press up to get the history in a session that you were doing, but not in multiple worlds, or not in restarts of the world, I guess. Okay, so stamina is set to. That's not how I remember it. I guarantee you. Nope. Because when I was doing my 1.20.1 development, I always have to retype in all the commands. You could always just Google it too. Let's see. When did Minecraft add command persistent command history? Persistent command history was added in snapshot 23W31A back in 2023. This feature was introduced for 1.20.2 or 1.20 or 1.21. So yeah, it's not in 1.20.1. So I'm not crazy. Is it going to be possible for other quirks to gain the stockpile and transference aspect, right? Those two quirks are probably going. Well, no, power stock is going to be its own quirk, but transference is going to be a chance to get it. At least on Java. Okay, we are debugging, so we have to step over this. We should have the stamina, and this should have all of our data, which it does. Regen amount is set to 2 already. Okay, so it's set to 2. Step, and I think it did this. Because this is regen amount, right? Data name. Regen amount. Do I need to break this? Or do I not need a break in... This isn't doing all of them, is it? I don't think it is. No, because it was set the current to 2. Commands on Bedrock are weird to write, yeah. So if we look at the stamina data, it's actually set to 2 already. You can see regen amount is set to 2. So it's not here that's doing it. It's back in the actual util. Or in the tick handler. So here. Regenerate. If we go back in the game. And we use some. It should debug. Okay. Regenerate is equal to... We don't care what the regen rate is. It doesn't matter. This should be 1 though. If the regen rate is greater than or equal to 1, which it is, the new current is set to the minimum of the current plus regen amount, which is 82, and the maximum. Stamina.set current, new current is 82. So we should be on 80 right now, but I can't look. Oh, wait. I see the problem. I see the problem. We're doing it twice, so it's just overwriting. Whoopsies! I didn't delete that from before. Okay, we're good. This is working perfectly. It's a bit worse for you because you're not a native English speaker and commands only go in English. That is correct. So you had to delete the part where you wanted to write it multiple times. Yep. What software am I using? This is IntelliJ. IntelliJ Community Edition. It's free. It's a Java IDE. Alright, this should be working now. This should go up by 2. Okay, it's going up by 2. If we change this, set our thing to 3, it should be going up by 3. That's awesome, because before, that wasn't actually a feature. Like, changing stamina regen like that was not possible. Well, I mean, I could have done it, but the old version of the mod didn't do that. So now I can make it an upgrade. I can make it an ability that changes it. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's actually save this, commit this. Stamina constants, stamina. Added in the What is this? Added stamina regen logic and configurable regen rate. Eventually, I'm going to make all of these configurable in files. But for now, we're just going to hold it off. Can you do the command in the negatives? Yes, you can. So like if I set this to -1, actually no, this one you can't do, but what you can do is the use. You can use negative. Oh, nope. Currently, no, you can't sit in the negatives. You can't use the command in the negative, but you can put the use in negative. This does not care. So this use is called when inside of the actual abilities. Oh no, I do actually check though if it's greater than 0. I should not care actually. We should delete this. Because I was initially thinking... Yeah, because I want people to be able to make abilities where... to make abilities where they can regenerate stamina faster. Even though that's like kind of OP to do that, I still think that's something that should be good. You remember the server and constantly dying in spawn. Yeah, that's something we're going to change with this go-around of the stamina system. I wanted to prevent dying to reset your stamina and then just train it some more. And so I had an idea for that, which we'll go into when we actually get to that part. Okay, but yeah, so now the answer to your question is yes, you can go negative. Not in the commands, though. The commands are going to be set to be a minimum of 0 because I don't want you to go down for the regen amount. But maybe for the use, though, this shouldn't be. I don't think it should be negative. I mean, positive only. Which I think I set it here. Integer minimum, we'll say the minimum is -9999. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for the regen to go below 0, so I'm going to keep it at 0. Okay, that changed. You remember your smoke screen training method that involved dying to reset stamina and then repeat? Yeah, that's not going to work anymore. And you'll see once we continue. So let's go back to the stamina util. Use stamina. We are on the handle stamina tick. So this is the logic for regeneration. And this is only fired currently if your regeneration rate is above 1. Otherwise, we want to check if the regen rate is less than some random value. So the way I did this before is we just randomly decide essentially if we're going to upgrade the stamina when you're exhausted. So this regen rate is a percentage, so it's either 100% or over or less than that. So what we can do is if we do player.get random, or is it .random source? Get random dot next, and we'll do float. This should be a this should return 1. I actually want to double check. I'm pretty sure this is a number between 0 and 1, but player.tell, no, send system message, component.literal, number is, and then this. Import class, and I didn't put it in debug mode, so I have to turn this off and turn it on again. But essentially what we're going to change is we're going to say the regen rate is either 100%, so do it, or the regen rate is less than that. If it's less than 100%, we're going to roll a dice, essentially. And if the dice is greater than Or wait, is it greater than? Yeah, if it's no, if it's less than the regen rate, then we're good to go. Then we regenerate the stamina, and if it's not, then we don't. We just skip that. And so that gives the appearance of stamina being slowing down. Okay, so that is in a thing, so that's good. So we're going to do here, I'm going to say or the regen rate, no, we do player.get this is less than, say less than or equal to, the regen rate. Another question, can regen a fraction of stamina per second? No. It's not going to do fractions. The stamina is going to be whole numbers only. But we're going to give it the appearance of having a fractional increase by just skipping the upgrade altogether. So in this example, the stamina regen rates is going to be, again, it's either 1 or it's 50%, 30%, 20%, or 1%. This means that how much of the time will the stamina regen? So this is 100% of the time your regeneration will go up by 1, or whatever your rate is, every second. This says only 50% of the time will your stamina go up per second. And this is only 30% of the time per second. And that gives the appearance that it's going up fractionally, but it's actually not. So if it's less than regen rate, yeah, so we can see it's giving us a bunch of random numbers. So it would only go up depending on what it's in. So that should be good. We do need to test it though. And to do that, I think the best thing to do is we'll just do an else. And we're going to do exhausted. I'm just going to say that. So it's either the regen rate is 1 or they failed the check. Or sorry, it wasn't 1 and they failed the check. It'll come down here and say exhausted. What we do need to do is go over into the commands and set a command for regen amount, which I don't really want to do, but we have to. So .then, and it's going to be commands.literal. I should be doing this with a builder, but whatever. Exhaustion level. And then after this, we do that then. Commands.argument. I can't really copy and paste in this section, which is annoying. Integer argument type dot integer minimum of 0, maximum of, can I do a maximum? I can. How many exhaustion levels are there? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0 to 4. And then we do dot executes. And this is going to be, again, the C lambda function set stamina value of c.getSource integer argument type dot get integer C amount c.getSource .get player or exception, and then the name, which is just exhaustion level. Now we gotta grab this. We don't have to change the set stamina value, but we do have to change the utility to make sure there is a case for that, because there wasn't before. So case exhaustion level, and we do this stamina.set exhaustion level amount. Okay. Code changed. I think we can hot swap it. Maybe. We're gonna see. How far am I planning to make the same quirk look distinct? Like smokescreen having different color smoke or the same for explosions of fire? I would like it to... Oh, hot swap failed. We gotta turn it off and on again. I would like it if the powers were super customizable like that in colors. But that's gonna be hard and annoying to do. I want the, I don't know. It's gonna be dependent on the ability. How would I even choose the color differences? Yeah, maybe performance enhancers or just like letting them change it. Because I know a lot of people are, a lot of add-ons now are using those color wheels and saying, oh, you can choose the color of everything. I might do that. I might not. I don't know. Or maybe like cosmetic gene colors, like the red gene. Then your stuff is red. Because I'll have all this whole gene system, so. YHA stamina set exhaustion level to level 1 exhaustion. Now, if we use this, we should see that 50% of the time we're exhausted, and when we're exhausted, the stamina does not actually go up. And you can see, there we go, we got a couple of good ones, then we're exhausted, 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 good, exhausted, exhausted, good, exhausted, good. So you can see it's going down quite a bit. Like you're born with it? Yes. It would be, that would be like a color gene that you're born with. Okay, but the exhaustion is working. If we set the exhaustion to 2, we should see it get exhausted a whole lot more. Which that does seem to be the case. Set this back to 0, should go up instantly. Perfect. Let's delete this. So that's the exhaustion system accounted for in the regeneration. But now we need to actually calculate the exhaustion level. So if we look at the old code that I had here, so this is what we were doing before. We implemented this section, but now we actually have to determine the exhaustion levels because the exhaustion levels are dependent on how low your stamina is. Because the lower in stamina you go, in the negatives, the more that your stamina just is bad and won't work. So we need to apply those. So let's see. We would need to calculate it here inside of this. So we're going to do int new exhaustion level. It's going to be equal to the result of calculate exhaustion level based on the new current stamina. And this actually has to be in here because we only want to attempt to recalculate if we increased our stamina. Because there's no point in recalculating it if our stamina isn't up, you know? For the exhaustion visuals, will you put a little shake to the stamina bar? Yeah, I want to do stuff like that. Like make it like crazy or move around and stuff. Shaking is like, I was actually trying to figure out what I wanted to do cosmetically, and shaking is a good idea. I did have the idea of changing the colors, but the problem with that is if people wanted to or complained that they can't customize the color of their stupid bar, then it would get a little confusing because if you wanted to say like I want red for my quirk, so I want my stamina bar to be red. Well, now I can't make red the exhaustion color, you know? But shaking is actually a good idea. I'm going to try to steal that if I remember. Let me take a look at how I was doing or I guess let's all take a look at how I was doing the exhaustion. So, oh yes, because I did make it, I made it configurable, the exhaustion levels. So if we take a look here, this is the amount of stamina to go under to get exhausted. So if you were nothing, no stamina below negative, you get no exhaustion. But if you're 10 stamina below negative, then you get you get more exhausted, then 35, then 60, then 80. And again, I wanted this to be configurable. So, and these are all of the multipliers and the cooldowns and stuff as well. We're going to we're going to copy these. I can't steal it from myself. We're going to go back to the stamina constants or stamina values. Stamina constants. And we're going to place these here. Whoa, go back. Go back. Your question is quirk overloading a thing? Maybe. I don't know. Hijack the hunger bar code 2 for when it's empty and it's constantly bouncing up and down. I mean, maybe. I don't know how they do it, but the way that I do the HUD is like I'm literally painting it on, so it would be a little different. I'd have to make it a ticking element, which it's currently not. I think it's in client. Yeah, HUD overlay. Yeah, the HUD is literally just drawn straight on. So, especially if I change it to be, if I change it to be an actual graphic, I'm probably going to need to do some experimenting on that. All right, so calculate exhaustion level. We'll not put it down in the force. Actually, we'll just do this. I think it's, what is the, we don't want that with just regular block comment. We're going to do this. And we're going to say a pipe here and do debug functions. And then do that. Boom. Check that out. Organized comments. Who would have known? But now we need to come here instead and put in the exhaustion. It's going to be a private method for some reason. I don't know. Oh, I guess I know why. So we're going to do private static int calculate exhaustion level with the value of stamina that goes in. What I was doing before is just looping through all of the exhaustion levels and comparing the stamina to that. And whichever one is, or whichever one it falls into, it just returns that. This is fine because there's only 5 elements, so a for loop isn't that crazy. Also, we get to exit early if we find it, so that's good. So we're going to do int I equals 0. I is going to be less than, and we're going to do exhaustion levels. Import static constant dot length. And actually -1 because it's 5 things long. I++. And we literally just check if the value we passed in for the stamina is greater than or equal to the exhaustion level at that index, then we just want to return that index. Just sneezed, sorry. Okay. And otherwise, we just keep going. If we don't find anything, then we're just going to return the length -1. So exhaustion levels dot length -1. So let's document this because we are trying to keep documented. But basically, check the new stamina value and see if it falls into one of the exhaustion levels. If it does, and actually we're just going to return the index or level 0 based of the exhaustion. And we'll do this. We'll do for example, or no, just ex stamina 0 equal, well, no, because we can't do an example because it could change because it's going to be configurable. the stamina value to check the level of will usually be negative if exhausted. I'll say that. Well, I do want to maybe lower the number, even though this is a for loop that only goes 5 times. I kind of want to ensure or speed it up or optimize it a bit. And what we can do is just check here if the new current is less than 0. Then we do this logic. So that prevents it from doing this every single time we regenerate his stamina, because we don't want to do that. We only want to do it if we're exhausted. All right, so once we calculate the level of exhaustion, then we should be able to let's see. We got to set the exhaustion level. So we'll do stamina dot set exhaustion level to the new exhaustion level. We need to I'm trying to look at what we're doing. I'm looking at my old code here. How's it going? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Just trying to re-implement the stamina system and make the changes that I feel are necessary. Yeah, so this is the old version. So we're checking here. We're grabbing the new exhaustion level based on whatever we regenerated, and we're updating it. And I do have it so that we update or send a message to the player. I don't think I'm going to do the message anymore because if we take a look, this is where I would say, like, you're feeling weak, your body is struggling, like critically overexerted. I feel like if we have the visual of the stamina bar changing, that would be better than just saying it in chat. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Do you think I should have in a message that tells you which level exhaustion you in, or should it just be the stamina bar's job to tell the player? Any opinions in the chat? Looks like there's no opinions. So, oh, there's one. You think the stamina bar should tell you the varying degrees of visual changes? That's kind of what I'm thinking. I even said here that I'm going to replace it with that. Maybe I just for now do a... Because I do need some sort of visual change. Would potentially flood the chat if you use many abilities at the exhaustion levels. Yeah, that was kind of what happened before. And it was kind of annoying. So how about this for no, because we don't want to do... One thing could be to send a little ding to the player if their exhaustion level changes. Ooh, okay, here's a thing I could do. Let me grab the existing exhaust level. And actually, we'll do it in here. Int current exhaust level equals stamina.get exhaustion level. What we can do is check to see if the current exhaust level, how's that? If the current exhaust level, actually we can just do exhaust level. because that's how we're doing it. So if they, or no, if the new one, new exhaustion level is greater than the current exhaust level, we want to somehow notify the player of a decrease in exhaustion. Exhaustion. Because this would be 0, this would then change to 1 if they get a level. How does a heartbeat sound? Yeah, the warden has a heartbeat sound, or that is a sound that we could try to do. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do player dot send. I hate doing sounds because it's not this. It's like player dot play sound. I feel like this isn't right. We'll try it because I think this is only. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Sound event dot warden heartbeat volume. We'll do 10. I don't know if that's loud. Pitch, we'll do 1. So now it should be the case that when they go below their thing, it'll play a heartbeat. We should probably test it. But only when it's lower. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to work. If you're going to have a system display the textures over the player's skin, like stockpile that, you could have a sweat visual appear. Maybe. If anything, it would be like a particle. I wouldn't put visual sweat on the player. Because that would look a little tacky, I think. All right, let's test this out. Set exhaustion level. It's at 0. If I do 1, listen carefully. I didn't hear anything. Crank this up. Oh, wait, because my exhaustion level didn't update. So we got to set our stamina to... We got to use it all. So use 100 stamina. Oh. I'm thinking it didn't work. Is it considering me exhausted? Why is it not going up? I should have a display that displays everything on the side of the screen. That would be useful. 3. Why is there a delay? 1, 2. Oh, is it because I set my exhaustion level to 1? I did, didn't I? It's not automatically setting it. Do I have an exhaustion query in game? No, I don't. I should have a debug mode that just puts everything on the screen. I'm just too lazy to do that. So this only goes off if the stamina, if the stamina goes below. Oh no, this is stamina regeneration. Because this wouldn't ever go down in the stamina regeneration. This only goes up. Because handle stamina tick is only when we're regenerating stamina, so it wouldn't ever do this. Because that would play... So that we wouldn't want this to be a warden heartbeat. We would want this to be like a ding. We'll do this. Bing. Oh, that's kind of loud. Let's do note block. Chime. What? You're a reference. How about dot get? What is your problem? Dot. Oh, I grabbed the one that was a reference to a sound effect. I don't know why. What's a good little ding sound? Not an anvil. Oh, arrow hit. No. Maybe bamboo place or something? Da, 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 da. And actually, I'm going to get rid of these just so I can see. And then we'll do player.send system message updated exhaustion. This has got to be a component. Dot literal. Updated exhaustion. And so this is only going up, so this would be less than. Yeah. Let's see. Sauce level. Single player. Welcome in, Chase. How are you? All right, so if we use our stamina all the way. Did I hear a ding? No, because it doesn't go below 0. That's why. So let's see. Force use stamina. Actually, the use stamina should be going below 0. New current equals stamina dot get current. So I'm actually think I set in a. Yeah, I put in a check here. We don't want to do this. We only want to have math.min. We don't want to set the max to 0. Spamming the reactions in the chat. I see all of the hearts. Wow. Look at them fly. All right, that was hotfix. So now we should be able to go negative. So let's use 20. Yep, we're negative. It's not displaying. That's probably a HUD thing. Also checking if it's 0. It's in the client section. Stamina HUD overlay. I believe I get the. Where do I get it? Get current stamina. Returns current stamina. Oh, here we go. Client stamina state. Also do the check here. We don't want to do that. Only want to do it. Boop. When, or only want to up. Yeah, we want it to go negative. So ideally, it could get to like negative 100. There we go. Negative 11. So we updated the exhaustion because it's negative 10. I didn't hear a ding. We should see it update the exhaustion level again when it goes up to 0. Well, let me listen carefully. Everyone listen. Shh. Okay, it's got to be higher than 1. Wait, it didn't update the exhaustion again. Stamina data. Why didn't it ding? Or, well, I know it didn't ding because it's probably the wrong method, but why didn't it update the exhaustion level? Because it should have been 0. Because we calculate the exhaustion level. We do if the current stamina is greater than or equal to this, which should be 0 as the first element, which it is, then it should return 0. And then when it returns 0, up here, we check if 0 is less than the exhaust level of 1, which it is. So play the sound and send the message. Something ain't right. Let's do player.getServer. Can I do that? No. Player. I just gotta find where I play sounds. I know I do it before. Sound. Play sound. Oh no, that's Palladium. Play sound. Palladium. The sound that is being played. Oh, I hate this. All right, where's Neoforge? Neoforge. Play sound documentation. Sounds. I think there's a graph here. Merging, playing sounds. Play sound here. Forwards to play seated sound with a random seed selected and the holder wrapped around the sound event. But this is play player sound. Plays the sound bound to the player's location, does not sound anything to the server. That's what I want. I want play player sound. What is this? This is inside of the level. So we do, let's see, player.level.play local sound. Right? No, play player sound. And then we want the sound events dot bamboo place. So what does bamboo placing sound like? Is it any grass? No. We need the breaking of bamboo, maybe? Maybe bamboo break. Bamboo break. Then we need, what do we need? We need sound source. Sound source dot players. Float volume 10. Float pitch 1. Play. So now if we go down, use 20 stamina. Okay, that did not increase it. Let's use 20 again. Is it because my exhaustion level is not... Set exhaustion level 1. It might be because the exhaustion level is not updated when we go below. That might be why. Let's give it a second to wait. We should be able to see, once it gets to -10, it should update. I didn't hear a sound. Did you hear a sound? I didn't hear a sound. Well, let me listen again. I didn't hear a sound. Also, it didn't update again. I should have updated to 0. Okay, set this to 1. Use 20. Use 20 again. I really need to get that debug display made. I don't want to, though. It's absolutely the worst. Almost as bad as sitting here waiting for this. -8. There. I didn't hear anything. Is it the volume? Is it supposed to be higher? I feel like that's way too high. 100 sounds like... I thought 5 was high. Let's do /play sound Minecraft block dot bamboo break player dev at my location 10 1. It's... Why doesn't this play? All right, let's try, instead of play seated sound, let's just try dot play sound. Server oh, wait, this doesn't work because we're on the server. So if we look here, we're using this, or try to use this, per player sound. We can see the server behavior is a no op, which means no operation. When we do dot level here, we're getting the server level. So it's doing a server level dot play sound, which is why it's not doing anything. So we either need to convert the player's level and get their client, or we play it on the server to them, but dang it. All right, we have to do it. So let's do dot play seated sound. Yep, Toothless is just vibing. The entity is going to be the player that we're going to play it to. The position is going to be player.get x, player.get y, player.get z. Then we need a holder for the sound event. Holder for the sound event. Sound events dot bamboo break, and this is gonna be mad, I think, because it's not a holder. But I don't know how to make it a holder. Sound sources dot players volume 5 pitch 1 seed, don't need it. Actually, if we use the play sound, it goes to seated sound. All right, let's try this. This should play the sound, I think. Set our exhaustion to 1. Set this to -18. Oops, +18. Oops. Use 2 more. Dang it, use 2 more. Dang it, use 5 more and set the exhaustion level to 1. All right. I didn't hear a sound. Whatever. I don't care. Okay, I think let's focus on the fact that... Is this because level is... No, I don't know. We're commenting that out. I hate sounds. We're going to focus on the fact that the exhaustion level isn't updating correctly when we use stamina. So down in the use stamina section, I need to add in some logic that actually changes our exhaustion level. So to do that, we are going to take a look in here. Right now, all I'm doing is checking if the amount we're trying to use is 0, then don't do anything. If they're in creative mode, we also don't do anything, because they shouldn't be able to use stamina in creative mode. We get the stamina, and then we set the new current equal to basically subtracting the current stamina with the amount that we're trying to use. And now if the current, or the new current, the new value of the stamina is less than 0, that's where we want to start looking into the exhaustion. Because that's where we want to update it. Let's see. So if the new current is less than that, we need to set the stamina dot set exhaustion level equal to whatever the exhaustion level is. And in this case, the exhaustion level is calculated the same way that it is below. It's using that calculate exhaustion level method. So let's do calculate. And we should probably save it though. Int new exhaustion level. Or no, yeah, if this is, let's see. Let's do int new exhaustion level. I'm trying to do this in the most efficient way possible. We're just going to define this as 0 for now. Oh no, equals stamina dot get exhaustion level. So we get the current exhaustion level, then we check to see if the new current is less than or equal to 0. That means we should be exhausted, so we're going to recalculate it. So we're going to do new exhaustion level dot or equals calculate exhaust level with the new current. And that will tell us the level of exhaustion. With that, we can then say, okay, let's go ahead and stamina dot set exhaustion level to the new exhaustion level. No, because we don't want to do this actually, because we can set the stamina can be positive or negative, so it should update the stamina, or should update the exhaustion value. Yeah, it should update it either way. So delete that. So once we have the new exhaustion level, we can set the current stamina. We can set the current exhaustion level to the new exhaustion level. And we can sync. And I think that's actually all I need to do as of right now. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I think that's all I need to do. So let me refresh this. We're going to go here. We're going to do set exhaustion level to 0, because that's what it should be. It should be 0. If we go down in stamina, so if we used like 15 stamina real quick, this should update. It didn't. Oh, because this is just force use. That's why. Force use doesn't do that. So let's do this. Why is my stamina not going down? It should be going down when I use that ability. Did I? Stamina test. Initial stamina 20, so it should be going down 20. How many powers have I code with this version? None. It's just the ability. Right now, I'm working on the re-implementing the stamina system and making a few changes to it. All right, so this dash ability is not making the stamina go down. It was before, and now it isn't. Or maybe it is, actually. And maybe it's just not updating visually. Because you can see we're at an exhaustion level right now. But I don't know what exhaustion level we are at. Try M. Okay, so why is that not updating? It's annoying me, is what it's doing. Let's take a look at the HUD overlay. This is getting from the client state, the current stamina, the client state, get max stamina. Stamina data should be fine. No, we're still syncing whenever we use the stamina. And this should sync the client state as well. Get max stamina, set that, and the minimum of those two. Current stamina, 100, 100. When does this get updated with this payload? Hello, Kenper, how are you? All right, so this is the part of the packet that gets sent, and it tries to update the value whenever we use stamina. Client stamina state. The mix-in is working, isn't it? I mean, I guess it's possible that it isn't. I'm doing well, thanks for asking. I actually don't know what the deal with that is. Let's push stop. Let's start it normally and see if I can notice if the mix-ins are running. I don't know if I have my mix-in debugging still enabled. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. All right, V, okay, so that's not happening. Okay. So I'm not sure if it's because the mix-ins are not working or if the the syncing between the server and the client isn't working. Because it was working before. We can do Control F. Maybe we'll look for this. This should be 2. Okay, so there's my mix-ins. They located when they ran. Okay. So something is wrong. Stamina data. I guess we put this here and we put in a debug point at the use stamina. See what happens. This is great that it just stopped working. Oh, pretty accurate though. All right, click, click. We're in debug mode now. The next time we use stamina, it should go and trigger correctly. So it is calling this. The amount is 20. The amount is not equal to 0. Step over. We're not in creative mode. We are in creative mode. Oops, I don't know why I stopped it. That was the problem. The problem was we were in creative mode. I'm just dumb. Oh. There we go. I need to make that a game rule or something, because I'm going to be in creative mode. The problem was that the stamina just wasn't updating correctly. Or at that point in time, it wasn't updating because we were in creative mode. Because I'm currently working on trying to get the exhaustion levels re-implemented into the new version of my mod. Now if I press S, oh, still in creative mode. Now if we press it, it goes down. Press it again, -10. Our exhaustion level should be 1. Or, yeah, and it is. We'll see if it goes to 0, it should update. And say in the chat that it updated. It did not update, and it also did not say in the chat that it updated. Why? 0 is less than the exhaust level, right? We get the exhaustion level. We see if it's new exhaustion level is less than the existing, which means we went from exhaustion level 1 to level 0. Then it should run. Yeah, what's your question? Stamina that set exhaustion level to the new level. This should be good. Is it attempting to run this at least? I do this. We should see it fire on 10. What happened to the Palladium tutorials? I mean, they're still there. I might pick up some of them in the future or do a few more. But I do plan on doing the new Palladium tutorials for 1.21.11. All right, so there's 10. It ran the exhaustion. If we look at stamina here, our current exhaustion level is 2. So this should go down by 1 to the new exhaustion level, which is 1. And that's exactly what it's doing. So we do that. I go back to here. Update exhaustion. So now when it goes to 0, it should also update the exhaustion. Please work. Because 0 is less than... See, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Exhaustion levels, -10, it fires. 0, it should also fire, but it doesn't. Why doesn't it fire at 0? Oh. That's why, because we only run this if it's 0. Let's try this. I was wondering why I had that equals 0 in the previous code, and that's why. The less than equals 0. So we should see it fire here once it gets to 10, -10. You can see you really do not want to get... There we go. It fired. Oops, I accidentally hit... Oops. Continue. Continue. Updated exhaustion. Now we should be at a 50% regen rate. 8, 6, 5, 4, 3. You can do it. 2, 1. Boom, it fired again. Continue. Turn off this debug point because it annoys me. Updated exhaustion, and now we're at 1 every tick. Although now we're starving. Steak. Boop. Okay. So now we're good. This is working. The exhaustion levels are being updated appropriately when you use stamina and when you don't use stamina. I think part of what was confusing me is the force use stamina that I was calling here. I didn't have it update the exhaustion. So we're going to do that. Set this, and it's going to be calculate exhaustion, new current. So now using commands, it's going to force the exhaustion to run. We should do the same thing for current. Make this run update exhaustion. Although exhaustion's gonna get updated anyway, so we really don't need to do that. But, okay. Let me commit this stuff. What did I change in here? Oh. All right. So what did we do? We added in logic to determine the current exhaustion level and allowed the current stamina to drop below 0, basically. Essentially allowing us to go into the exhaustion level. Okay. Now there are a few things we need to do besides getting some sort of indication. What is this? To do, add in some indication, some better indication of the exhaustion changing. Exhaust. Like that. There you go. All right. We're getting closer. I was gonna say we're kind of close, but no. Because now, what do we have? We have the regeneration. That's working, and the regeneration cooldown. Although we don't set the cooldown. We got to do that. Let me do that in the use. Basically, the idea is whenever we use regeneration. No, I'm not going to do that now. Let's focus on the exhaustion. All right, so looking at the old code, we've done this. We've done this. And we've updated this. We don't need to update this stamina percentage anymore because we're no longer using scoreboards, and we currently set the exhaustion level. What I do after this, after regenerating stamina, I need to check to see the exhaustion level and apply all of the different effects, as well as do the plus ultra stuff. So let's do that section now. So exhaustion level here, and then we set the exhaustion level. But outside of this, and outside of syncing, we don't need to do that yet. Let's go here. Let's grab the exhaustion level, which I don't think I define. Nope. So int exhaust level equals stamina dot get exhaustion level. We re-get this to ensure it is updated to the current stamina value. Once we have this, we can check to see if we need to apply the exhaustion effects. So we'll do if, and actually let's just do apply exhaustion effects on the player and the exhaust level. And yeah, so let's create this function. Now before, when I did this, let's calculate exhaustion level, private static void, apply exhaustion effects, server player, and then the exhaust level. Now I think I want to change up the effects. Ew, why is it doing it like that? I think I want to change up the effects a little bit. I want to get a little more creative with them if possible, because right now the main thing we do is a movement slowdown, and that's kind of, how do I put this? I mean, it's kind of lame. I don't know. But I mean, it makes sense. Because if we look before, what it gave us was exhaustion level 1, you would just move slower. Exhaustion level 2, you move slower, you had weakness and you had hunger. Exhaustion level 3, you had movement slow, weakness, opposite of haste, which I don't remember what that is, and hunger. And then case 4 was all that plus wither. So eventually you'd perish. But I don't know if I want to do it like that anymore. Also, before I was using potion effects. I'm not going to do that anymore because some powers may have the ability to remove potion effects, and I don't want them to be able to remove effects based on exhaustion. So we're going to be using attribute modifiers, which in Forge or NeoForge actually changed. Oh, I spelled this wrong. Player. All right, this function is responsible for applying the negative effects based on the level of exhaustion that the player has. These range from slowness to physical damage, but I will say with the idea that they increase in strength the higher the value goes. Case 1, exhaustion level 1. All I had before was a slowness effect. Now, how do I do slowness effects in 1.21.11? Well, I don't know. We're going to have to find out. If I look in my mod with the shrinking one, which I think was this one, new window, I'm pretty sure in here I do... Oh, nope. It's not this one. Which one is my... The annoyance mod that I made? Hero Hunt. It was just called Annoyance, I thought. Oh, or did I... Forge.21. There's no way I did that. Learning test? Maybe. NeoForge test? Also maybe. Maybe I called it NeoForge test. I definitely did not call it NeoForge test. Stop. Where is it? Hold on, I'm currently looking for my annoyance mod that I made. The one where you guys suggested things. And I coded them into Minecraft. Crazy idea, right? I didn't name it annoyance. What did I name it? It wasn't that. It's not Powers Unleashed. What did I call it? Let's do find everywhere. Or everything. Roop. Let's do annoyance. There's all my jar files. Learning mod template 1.21.10. That's what it is. Who would have thought this window? Okay, I found it. So here's my mod, and let's see, the size thing, the scale helper. So these are the resource locations for the attributes. These are all just the multipliers for scaling. Remove multiplier or modifier. Apply add. So attribute instance, we create a new attribute. Remove instance here. Apply add. Apply multiply total. So we're creating a new instance of an attribute given the attribute here. And then assigning it. This is a little confusing. Let me go into this attributes. 1.21.11. Minecraft attributes can be found in the Minecraft class. There's all of these and a few extra more. This is defining them. This is subscribing. This is querying them. Attribute modifiers. Let's see. In contrast to querying, changing the attribute values is not as easy, mainly because there may be multiple changes required to an attribute at the same time. Yeah, and better communicate. Minecraft introduces the attribute modifier system, which we know. Let's create an attribute modifier. You create it like this with a name, ID, and then whatever you're adding. And then you apply it by getting their attributes and then you adding a modifier to it. Finally, we also query the attribute map for whether it has a modifier. Okay, right. You gotta love how easy to use Minecraft modding is, or easy to understand. I think what's happening, we do attribute map up here. Attribute map attributes equals player.get attributes. This should be all of the attributes that they have. Then what we need to do is attributes dot get instance attributes dot movement speed dot add transient modifier. Wait, what is the difference? So add a transient modifier. If a modifier with the same idea is already present, this will throw an exception. Add or update, we'll just remove it and then update. Add permanent, we'll just be mad and add permanent. So I think we want it transient. So we're going to do add or update transient modifier, and then we have to actually have a modifier. Okay. And then we need to make the attribute modifier with an ID. I'm honestly a little confused, but we're going to figure it out. Identifier ID equals identifier dot from namespace and path YHA dot mod ID comma exhaustion underscore slow. Then we take, by the way, identifier is the new name for resource location. They changed it for some reason. I don't know why. Yes, Omen. I am live. It's crazy. Modifier equals new attribute modifier. Attribute modifier. Then in here we pass in the ID. We give it the amount that we're going to modify it to, which is for movement speed. We should probably make it a constant value, I guess. Stamina data, nope. Stamina constants. This is the exhaustion multipliers. I don't remember what that's for. But we're going to do a public static double exhaustion underscore speed underscore slowness modifiers equals, make sure we spell exhaustion right. And I don't remember what this is. 0 is 0. That much I know. Multiply it by 0. No, multiply it by 1. Because we want that. If we want them to be 80% slower... Oh, wait, no. We want them to be 20% slower. Because we multiply it times that. Or no, maybe it's like 8... That's 20% slower, I think. 0.6... Oh, no, 0.60... 0.54... But if I remember, though, slowness is like really, really small of a number. Slowness. Include non-project items. We're looking for, I guess this. Where are you defined? Do you know? Slowness equals register slowness, new mob effect, harmful, add attribute modifier, movement speed, identifier with default namespace, effect.slowness. Okay. Negative 0.15. And it's add multiplied total. So we should probably do the same thing. So slowness 1 is going to be negative... Wait. Yeah, this is going to be negative 0.15. This will be negative 0.25, I guess. Negative 0.35 and negative 0.45. This, I guess, is just 1 or 0. 0? Maybe 0? Don't move it at all? I don't know. Let's try it. Exhaustion slowness modifiers with the exhaust level, which this should be already an index 0 through the size, so that should be good. Then we want attribute modifier dot add dot operation dot add multiplied base or total. What does slowness do? Add multiplied total. So we're copying that. Total. Boom. Okay, and then we just add in the modifier. Method may produce null pointer exception. Do we care? Not really. I kind of don't care at all. So we're going to attempt this. What we also need to do is add in a way to reset it and reset the modifiers. Exhaustion.slow. How did I remove it from the previous version of the function? I might have done it in stamina tick. Set exhaustion man. Initialize player stamina. We gotta add that too. Enable apply exhaustion effects. I might have actually just set these so small that it didn't matter. I did. All right, so that means we need to come up with a new system. One that actually removes the stuff. Okay. Let's try this. Private static void remove exhaustion effects. It's going to have in the same stuff, server player player. We don't need the exhaustion level. And if I'm looking at the documentation, it says removing is just getting the instance of that either by the modifier object or by the ID of the object. So allegedly, I say allegedly because I don't believe it. We copy this, we grab the same attribute map of the player, and we just do attributes.remove attributes.get instance of attributes. Oh my gosh, attributes.movement speed dot remove modifier, pass in this, and that should remove it. This is going to say may produce null pointer exception if it doesn't exist. What is the fix for this? Replace with objects that require non-null. I feel like that's not going to do it, but we'll do it anyway. All right, then what we need to do is we'll need to call this remove method up here. So if the exhaustion level, or if the new current is less than or equal to 0, oh no, because we need to, anytime it updates. I guess we need to check first if these two are different. Because if the current exhaustion level is different than the new exhaustion level, that means we need to clear the effects and reapply a new one. So I think that's what we'll do. If the exhaust level is not equal to the new exhaust level, then we want to remove exhaustion effects on the player. Then we check if it did change. We say update exhaustion. And down here, we reapply them. Right? I think that's fine. I don't actually know. We're going to find out. Like I said before, we were using actual potion effects, and we just let the potion effects die out when you were no longer in the exhausted zone. But the problem with that is now you're dependent on potion effects, and potion effects can be cleared with a bucket of milk. So it's best to use an attribute modifier. In this case, we're going to try to use an attribute modifier to make it slower and see if it works. So if I use 15 stamina now, I should be slow, but I am slow. Oh, wait, or am I slow because I ran out of food? Let's notice. All right. That actually worked. Hold on, 15? Yeah, I think that's working. If we speed up once the once that wears off, I think it's good. There we go. Okay, I think that's actually working. Okay. Where's my steak? I exited without saving, so my steak did not save. All right, F3, F4. No, there we go. Save. All right, so that's working, I guess. So let's just go ahead and apply the rest of the exhaustion effects. I feel like this should move to a different file. I feel like I should also just define these modifiers in a different file. Yep, I guess so. Stamina properties, could it go in there? Nope. That's for something else. So stamina tick, no. Okay, well. It's also in stamina. I guess I could go in stamina constants. Why not? Define the... Can I make a Demon Slayer mod? Nope. I don't watch Demon Slayer, so I probably won't make a mod about it. But people can use my library to make Demon Slayer powers that use the same stuff. No, that doesn't matter. Attribute modifiers for the exhaustion effects. If we define them all here as static, then... No, we can't do that, actually. Oh, we just need to do the identifiers, actually. Actually, we just need these. So if I go back to... Close that, close that, close that. Constants. The identifiers, IDs, for the attribute modifiers. So public static identifier ID equals this. Exhaustion slow. And we call this, instead of ID, this is going to be public static. What is this going to be? Exhaustion slow attribute. We have slowness. We have not. We have got weakness. Weakness. What are the other ones? This one. Slowness, weakness, hunger, which isn't an attribute modifier. So we can't do that. Is it an attribute modifier? No. Hunger is not an attribute modifier. So can't really do that. But I don't think hunger makes sense for exhaustion. I feel like it's slowness, weakness, blindness. Oh, dig slowdown. Dig. No, that's, yeah, dig slowdown. And what other attributes are there? I mean, I guess we could give them wither, but does this say in this documentation all of the values of attributes? Here we go. Temp range, sweeping damage, submerged mining speed, step height, spawn reinforcements, scale, oxygen, movement speed. We're doing that. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's for that. So mining efficiency, max health, max absorption, luck, knockback resistance. I can only go between 0 and 1. Jump strength. I could get rid of their jump. I can make them so they can't jump very high. I can change their flight speed too. Camera distance, burning time, attack speed. Setting this to 0 effectively. Yeah, so we gotta do, wait, block break speed. Wait, why are there so many different ones? Hello? Okay, we're gonna do attack speed. Here we go. We have slow, exhaustion dot slow, weakness, dig speed, which is actually block break speed. Then attack speed. We'll do attack slow, regular slow. We'll do movement, move slow, weakness, dig slow, attack slow. Dig, we'll do attack. And what else did I say? Oh, jumping. Exhaustion, jump. Jump. All right, so now what we can do, inside of the remove, we have the attributes map. We just grab this, and instead of remove modifier, this whole thing, we do stamina constants dot exhaustion attack slow attribute, and then we copy and paste this and do all the other ones. I think it's attack slow, move slow, dig slow, jump, and what was the other one? Weakness. Not weakness slow, just weakness. And so attack slow, or move slow is movement speed. Attack slow is attack speed. Dig slow is block break speed. Jump is jump strength. Movement speed, or weakness is attack damage. So this is going to remove them all. Let's do this. Removes all of the exhaustion attributes so that they can be reapplied when the exhaustion level changes. And then instead of this, we do stamina. Oh, it just imported them all. Exhaustion, move slow attribute, like this. So now case 1 creates a new exhaustion move slow attribute, gives it a value of whatever the value is here, and we add it to the multiplied total, and then we update it here. For case 2, or level 2 of exhaustion, we want to do a movement speed, of course. So the movement is going to be the exact same. Modifier is already defined in this scope. Okay, so we can actually move this up here. Let's just do that. So we're going to update this, duplicate branch and a switch. Yeah, that's fine. So I think that we're good defining the modifier up here such that the exhaustion level is updated here. So we can actually use it automatically in every single one of these. In fact, we don't even need it to be... Yeah, it's going to be applied to everything. So we're going to move it here. We're going to say slowness gets applied at every level. So do it at this level. So, okay, so then we don't even need a case 1. We just need case 2. For case 2, we're going to create a new modifier. Hold on, gotta reply to a text message. One moment, one moment. All right, we're gonna try to finish this up, and then I gotta go. But, all right, so then the attribute modifier for the weakness, let's do slowness modifier. Make sure we use this here. The weakness modifier, this is going to be the exhaustion, move slow. No, it's going to be the exhaustion weakness attribute. The weakness we do want to change. We're just going to, I mean, we could change it here. We could change weakness modifiers and just define it the same thing here. So this is the slowness attribute scaling. We can do the exact same thing for this public static double array exhaustion modifiers equals 0 for the first level. Then the second level of weakness is, I don't actually know what the scaling is, so I'm going to look at the mob effects here. Looks like weakness is the attribute of attack damage mob effect -4, add attribute modifier, attack damage 0 addition. Right. Okay, let's take a look at this. Weakness or attack damage. Attack damage, the base attack damage. So this is going to be -1%. So I think we do the add multiply thing too. Oops, move this down. So let's try this. Let's do, if you're weak, we'll say you do 75% damage. So like -0. Because if we add it, I'm just going to do these. -0.5, -0.75, -1. I'm not sure that that is going to be correct. Add multiplied total. We're going to try it. So weakness modifier here. Okay, so now they get weak, or should at level 2 get weakness and that. But to test it, I don't have the dummy. So I'm going to have to make a quick event to just say how much damage I do. Which, do I even have one? Here, I'll put in the stamina tick handler just temporarily. Subscribe event. We're going to do public static void on damage. Done. Player attack or entity dot entity damage, entity hit results. Entity hit result is not that. It's like damage. What is the event? Living damage event. I think this is going to crash because it needs a A dot something. Nope. Whatever. If event dot get entity is instance of server player, then we do import that. We do player dot send system message component dot literal, and we say did plus event dot get dot wait, the event doesn't have. Oh, we need the post. There we go. Now we can do event dot get block damage, new damage, get source, get reduction, get original damage. Dot get new damage? I don't know. Let's try that. All we did there was just created an event that runs whenever anything takes damage. We check to see if the person doing the damage. Ooh, this might not be the person doing the damage. It might be the person receiving the damage. Because it's either we didn't do get source or anything. So let me summon createmo slash summon. Whoa, slash summon husk. If I punch them, okay, yeah, that does not work. It's not dot get entity, it's get source. Right, get living damage event. That's not what we want. We want living. You know what? We'll just do get entity. We'll just say instance of a husk. Yeah. And instead of this, we're just gonna do system.out.println damage plus event.get new damage. That should work. We're going to check to see if we punched a husk. The husk is going to be our training dummy since we don't have a training dummy. And it should just output to the console how much damage we did. And that will tell us exactly how much the reduction is doing. Because I'm not sure if the reduction, how the reduction works. All right, so if we punch him, we said we did 0.94 damage, 0.94. Okay, so that's working, 0.94. If we set our exhaustion level to, this should be 0.94, which it is. But if we go down to the next level, we have slowness and weakness, 0.94. Let me go lower. 0.94. Okay, the slowness is working correctly. I don't think the strength is. Exhaustion level 2, weakness modifier. Weakness attribute. It's attack damage. I mean, it's possible that get new damage is. Let's do get original damage, maybe. Let's try that. Let's do a quick little restart. And for the stamina, to be in level 2, we have to be negative 35. Between negative, so negative like 25 stamina. So let's do negative 50. There we go, negative 25. Summon the husk. We punch him. We do 1 damage. So that's about right. So I don't think that's doing anything. I don't think the weakness is doing anything. Oh. Wait, that's why. We actually need to do that. And get original damage. That should be fine. Let's rebuild that. I was accidentally applying it to the movement speed, which is probably why we were moving extra slow. Which we're still kind of moving slow, but let's let it update real quick. By going to 10, it should clear all of our effects. We should be zooming. Gonna update anytime now. Updated exhaustion. I'm still slow. I wonder if it's because... Yep, it's because the identifier was not reset correctly, because we did attack damage. So now let's just do this. Let's copy this real quick and then remove exhaustion effects, change this to movement speed, and yeah, remove that modifier from the thing. Because the problem was there's still this weakness attribute being applied to the movement speed from when we messed it up before. So we're trying to clear it, but we couldn't clear it because... Let's use 5 stamina. Let's use 5 stamina. This should clear them both, I think. Maybe. There we go. Back to normal. All right, now we can delete this because it's unnecessary. And let's try the weakness. So if we summon a husk again, summon the husk. So if we punch him, we do 1 damage. If we use enough stamina to be in the negative, this is the second stage, we're doing 0.5 damage now. So we're doing half damage. If we take a sword, is it half damage or is it not? So if we do this with a sword, that's 3.5 when this does 7 attack damage. So yeah, that's minus 50% damage. I think that's good. Stamina constants 0, 1, 2. Yeah, negative 50%. You know, come to think of it, if we have these modifiers here, I could just have the exhaustion just apply to everything. So instead of doing this whole stupid switch statement, we literally just scale everything based on the exhaustion. So you get slowness, you get weakness all the time, but the difference is how much they scale. I think that's actually a way better thing to do. So I'm going to give you all of these things when you're exhausted. It's just whether or not they're strong or not. I think that's a good compromise. Or it's not even a compromise. I think that's a good way to do it. So like the block break modifier, we need to actually come over here and copy this. And we'll just go through and do block. I guess it's dig slow. Dig slow modifiers. Attack slow modifiers. And jump modifiers. And if we do... Honestly, if we just keep it the same for everything, just as a testing, I can always balance it a little later. We'll do dig slow modifier equals new attribute, and it's not exhaustion weakness, it's dig slow. And instead of the weakness, actually we could even use the same weakness modifiers. It doesn't matter, but we'll just change it real quick to the dig slow modifiers. Exhaust level. What shit? I don't know why I did that. There you go. Exhaust level. Add multiplied total. Okay, we can do the same thing for the jumping. And the other thing. Let's see, Black Blake, jump, attack, damage, wait. Attack speed. Attack speed modifier. Exhaustion, attack slow. Modifiers, not modifiers, attack slow. It's this guy. Attack slow, dig slow is dig slow. This is probably actually a little confusing. Oh, we already did dig slow. This isn't supposed to be dig slow. This is supposed to be... I should put them in the same order. I don't know why I'm not doing that. Attack speed. Attack speed. Oh, we gotta finish attack speed, though. This is... attack slow modifiers. Then... you go up here, so it's all the same. Attack speed, slow down. Movement speed, slow down. Block breaking, slow down. Which goes here. And that's right, and that's dig slow, good. Then jump strength. That's what we're missing. So the jump modifier goes here. This is going to be, I think, just jump. And this is going to be jump modifiers. Add multiply operation, good. And then weakness attribute. So all these should be unique, which they are. All these should be unique. They are. All right, now we just got to do these. So it's going to be pretty much copy and paste like we did before. 3 of them. But we need to change this to attack speed, movement speed, block break speed, jump strength, and attack damage. And attack damage should be the weakness modifier. The jump strength should be the jump modifier. Dig slow should be this one. Slowness is this one. And attack speed is this one. All right, did I get everything? I think so. So now the exhaustion effects are going to be applied no matter what, and they're all going to be scaled. If I wanted to make it so like jumping, I think it would only make sense. Let's do 0. Let's have jumping die by 50% at this stage. But the attack slow and all that could be good. I think that's fine. We'll test if it works. If it does work, that means we can easily just go through and make these configurable so that if people wanted to configure on their servers the exhaustion to be more unique, or they didn't like the balancing or whatever, they can go ahead and just change it in a file. And that's a lot less work on me. Well, I mean, I'd still balance it myself, of course, but... Okay, we should... Let's wait for our stuff to go back to normal. Updated exhaustion. Actually, we gotta put this here because we have to be able to see the damage. And also the values of exhaustion. Alright, so we're in the first level. We're doing 75 or 25% less damage. I think we're swimming slower. I can't tell. Alright, everything's updated though. So let me put this guy in a hole. Summon Husk. Alright, so let's use 20 stamina. Let's actually use... Yeah, okay, so we're in this stage. 0.75. That's how fast we swing. Let's use 20 more stamina. We should be in the next stage. We're moving slower. We can still jump. Attack speed is slower. Should be way slow with the sword. Yeah, it is. It's way slow. All right, let's use 20 again, which I think... Yeah, I think this is the one we want. Oh, the attack speed is impossibly slow. 60. Oh, because I went above 60. I go 5. Oh, yeah. That's because it's 100. So that's saying that we can't even swing our arm at that speed. We also shouldn't be able to jump very high. Oh, yeah, we can't jump at all. This is me... This is me pressing spacebar. We lost the ability to jump. And do anything. Which I kind of like. I mean, all we can do is just move like this. We can't jump. We can't swing our arm. I mean, we can swing our arm, but we can't do anything. We can't break anything. We can't do anything. I think that's fine. That's punishment for exhausting yourself. Let's use -5 stamina until everything goes back to normal. Like this, we can still break stuff, just very slow. Yeah, I think that's good. Boom, back to normal. 1 damage. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's good. And that simplifies it. All of this is now configurable. And the stamina, yeah, this exhaustion effects is a little more easy to understand, I guess, than this. The one thing I may still do is add in like the wither effect, because I used to have that for level 4. I also need to add in the stuff for plus ultra, but I'll do that off camera here. But overall, that's pretty almost done actually for the stamina system. Well, no, that's not true, because there's still the updates to the death system. I want dying to refill your stamina, which in the old version it didn't, because I thought people were going to scam the system by not, or by just, you know, spam dying, and then they had infinite stamina. What I'm going to do is change the way that the stamina is actually increased, or gets increased, and have it only increase if your stamina drops below a certain value. So the idea is farming stuff in the exhaustion levels is going to be good. But when you die, you have to get all the way back to that exhaustion level or to that stamina thing before you can actually earn points towards increasing your maximum. I think that'll slow people down a lot from trying to do it and encourages using the powers. Because it makes sense that if you use your power all the way, that's how your stamina grows, like reaching your limits and then going. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it for today's stream. Thank you everyone for just stopping in and saying hello. It wasn't as fast or as much, didn't get as much done as I wanted to. But that's okay. I've got enough here to finish it up and finish the stamina system. And then I'll work next on the, I'll re-implement the body system, I think. The body system or the temperature stuff. Probably the body system. Which that one shouldn't take as long to do because now I'm kind of understanding how all this capabilities and stuff work. But yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss when this comes out. I'm hoping it comes out relatively soon after the release of Palladium 1.21.11. Can't promise it, though. I just hope. But yeah, I will see you all in the next stream or video or whatever I do. I don't know. See ya.